Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome back to Pick and Roll, your NBA betting show on the Hammer Betting Network. And we're right here now on the Board YouTube channel, which you can subscribe to help us out on the channel and get yourself in line to get all the notifications and all the updates on all the content going out on this channel over the course of the NBA playoffs and as well as the offseason. All right, new week of betting. We're hoping for a bounce back week here. As always, we always recap the previous days of work, and the Friday slate was extremely frustrating. It was the second time this season we faced an 0-3 day, and unfortunate that it was at the end of this week here. We had to kind of let that settle over the weekend, but looking at it here on the BetStamp profile, so playoffs and regular season included, we're at 11.1 units and a 3.9% ROI. And these three plays, I mean, I think, Pips, you shared it on your Twitter that if you played the exact same three plays yesterday, it would have been 3-0. And that same matchup, same building. So unfortunate that it did come down to this. But I'll say quickly here, in the Derek White play, he's 1 point off. The Jokic play, he's 2 points off. And in the Brunson Garland one, well, Garland went 4 of 21. That wasn't even close. So why don't you give your comments on the Friday night and maybe what went wrong in those ones?
Yeah, that's I'll say unluckiest day of the season we had so far because first off, Derek White had 11 points, 5 minutes into the second half, played 14 more minutes without a single field goal attempt. He was just standing on the court, and we saw Marcus Smart with almost 20 field goal attempts, even though it was other way around in the game one, game two. Last night, easy first half cash for White. Trae Young obviously killed the line in both games, 30 plus points scored. So a right play, wrong outcome. First game. Second bet, Edwards easy, 30 plus points in both games. Jokic first game, one field goal short. They were up double digits away in the entire game. He didn't do much. Last night they were down. He scored 43 points. Same matchup, same game plan, same defensive scheme. He just didn't do anything on scoring wise in the game three because he didn't have to. So that's the thing. Third bet, Darius Garland. I'll say that game, Darius Garland had the best looks out of everyone on the floor by far, and he started the game 1 for 14. And ended 4 for 21. If you like Garland taking 20 plus field goal attempts in a game, that's probably resulting in 30 points. Last game he had 16 and scored 23. So game before that he had 17. He scored 32. So the highest usage game of maybe even like for sure highest usage game in the playoffs, but one of the highest usage games of the season where he usually scores 30 plus points, he came well short. And yeah, and then yesterday, all easy winners, no sweat. Yeah, fortunate. If he had the show last night, I will probably go back to the bets. We didn't. It was on Sunday, so we just take 0-3 loss. I think we deserved at least one, and that will be huge swing of 2 and 2.2 unit swing. At least if we get White, and that it will be like -1 unit day, and that's completely okay. But going like this is tough, man. Like we grind our entire season and then lose 3.5 units in one day on unfortunate outcomes, and yeah, really nothing to do about it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's just part of handicapping, part of betting, where in the grand scheme of variance, these sort of days can happen, and unfortunate that it happens to us here. And it wasn't a great week altogether leading up to that. So we're hoping that we can get a bounce back week here today. Obviously, I think there's going to be concerns naturally. Is the playoffs making it harder? Is the playoffs making it more difficult? Maybe that is the case. I wouldn't say there's enough to suggest that is the case as of yet. The reality is during the regular season, there was a day like this. There was weeks like this. So hopefully we get it back here. And there is one play here for today that we're hoping launches the week forward into a profitable start here, and it is in the Grizzlies and Lakers game. Massive game 3 coming up here. So let's get you that first and only official pick on the slate. It is Anthony Davis, 20 plus points, and Ja Morant, 25 plus points. Remember, these are on the alternate lines, on the milestone lines for the players, and that combined gets us minus 110 odds at DraftKings. Also, I imagine BetMGM, but I will verify that in just a second here, but definitely on DraftKings. So, Pips, what do you like about these two, and what do you like about this matchup today?
I'll just start with AD. So this will be his 6 games against the Memphis Grizzlies over the last 2 months. First game he scored 28 points. Second game he had 30 points. Third game he had 22 points. So covering it easily in first 3 games. Then fourth game he didn't cover. He scored 13 points and was 4 for 14 from the field, which is very unusual and game for AD. And the last game, he had easy way to operate. He scored 31 points, shot season high against the Grizzlies. And out of these previous games, he scored 30, 28, 22. He never took more than 18 field goal attempts, and in the last game he took 24. He was playing one-on-one against Tillman, one-on-one against Jaren Jackson Jr. They didn't double team him, they let him one-on-one, and I kind of like the way Memphis defended him one-on-one because Jaren Jackson Jr. did a good job defending AD. But if you let him play one-on-one, won't be that efficient, but he will get a ton of usage. So if we see AD shooting 20 plus times a night, that's almost certain 20 plus points. He got to the line 10 times, which is great. Aggressive AD is unstoppable for I don't think any players in the league can defend AD when he is aggressive. And yeah, I think game 3, big game. Game 4, big game at home for the Lakers to confirm the break they did on away. Going up 3-1 will be huge. They need an aggressive AD. And yeah, I think Tillman and Jaren Jackson Jr. that's just not being able to stop him. And they did quite some. They got him more involved. He had a lot of the double drags, paint pick and rolls, where he ended up dunking from the alley-oop by D'Angelo Russell and LeBron James. Some even of Austin Reeves. So they are playing through him way more than they did in the game 2. So I just hope we could continue to do the same and he get the single coverage, and that's a good way for AD to score. And the second bet is Ja Morant. They are down in this series, and he came back last game. He was actually 24 and a half, and I was like concerned with his injury. I didn't know what to expect for Ja Morant, and he goes in and scored 45 points. I think he scored 23 straight points for the Grizzlies in the fourth quarter. That was amazing.
Yeah.
And that usage, man, like 26 field goal attempts plus 14 free throws.
Yeah.
Like that's absurd. And yeah, that usage is crazy. And actually, when playing 42 minutes, that's almost like 26 field goal attempts, 14 free throws. And if you take a look at the minutes, he played 42 minutes. His usage is 33%, and that's almost his season average. So he's getting huge minutes, and he will get huge volume. And on that huge volume, he's supposed to score 30 plus points. So I obviously I don't expect him to make 6 threes, but he did the warm up. I actually saw the warm up before the game, and he made 7 to 8 straight threes. And then game started, and they were going under his screen, just defending him like he's Russell Westbrook, and he made them pay. So either he continues good shooting on wide open threes because he practiced them, and he can hit 3 or 4 out of 10 wide open threes for sure, or they go a bit higher if he hits great to start and he then blow by them. But I'm very happy to see him going to the line 14 times away against the Lakers. and that's almost half. That's half the our line, and yeah, big game for Ja Morant. I think he need to have great game. 45 points in the last game. AD is amazing. AD did a great defense on him, but like Jared Vanderbilt is not quick enough to stay in front of Ja Morant. And the thing I like from the Memphis in the game three for Ja, they push the pace like crazy, and Ja Morant in transition is just too quick for anyone on the roster of the Lakers. So yeah, I like this too. Very important game for both, and I expect Ja Morant to show for this game. And as I said, 42 minutes in the last game after being injured is
Yeah,
very
that's
very
crazy.
promising. Yeah.
So over for the best for this one. Also, by the way, guys, if you do have access to multiple books, we usually stick with DraftKings, MGM, FanDuel on this show. But if you do have 365, Shannon has alerted us that this is also available for minus 105 at Bet365 if you're watching now and or later and want to grab that one. Line shopping, as we always preach, is the most important thing when it comes to sports betting. And the easiest way to sign up to these extra sports books and shop around for odds is using an odds comparison tool like BetStamp. And to sign up to all these extra books, make sure you're using our affiliate code in betstamp.app/theboard to get signed up and make sure you're getting the maximum value out of all of your sports wagers. Okay. Also, this one's minus 121 at FanDuel. So if you're only stuck on FanDuel, 11 cents difference. Big deal there. Okay. I like this play. Ja Morant, he's been that game just showcased that the injury concerns perhaps are not there with the usage there. There is a question here from Don. I'll call it a question. Maybe slightly concerned about the inconsistencies of Ja Morant. While you were talking, I was looking. Ja Morant is a very, very consistent player. There were some inconsistencies near the end of the season, coming back from suspension. Grizzlies locking up their seeding. But Pips, wondering, do you have any comments on any inconsistencies? Is there any concern there for Ja?
I'll say for me personally, this is a down year for Ja Morant because his true shooting percentage is 55% this season. That's way below league average, and most of it came after the injury because he had crazy hot start in the season and then drop off lately. But in April, he had over the March and April, his true shooting went back up to 58%, so even more efficient there. But the way the game is going to be tonight, they will push pace, and that's Ja Morant thing. And with season on the line, like obviously it's not the elimination game, but it feels like it is for the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
I just think his usage will be so high that he will cover this even with a lower efficiency game. So yeah, I think Ja Morant is sometimes in the season he Desmond Bain crazy hot start, he'll take a seat back. Jaren Jackson Jr. hot start, he'll take a seat. Like he was that kind of player, but with this kind of game, he'll just take over like he did in the last game. I expect him throughout the season he let his players get going, but for in this kind of game we need huge Morant. And after everything that happened with with being suspended, and
Yeah.
I think he needs to step up to get back the hype of his name and to get some respect from everyone. I think he did in the last game, but they lost. They need to win tonight, and that will come up from a huge game from the Ja Morant. I'll say last game, no one from the Memphis Grizzlies showed up. Everyone was struggling. Tillman 6 points, Bain 18 points, only 14 field goal attempts. Jaren Jackson Jr. 4 for 12, 13 points. Brooks 7 points on too many shots, and bench didn't do anything. Bench
Yeah.
didn't do anything. He scored like 50% of team points. That's I just think this team doesn't have enough from the guys because Jaren Jackson Jr. difficult matchup. He's well defended. Desmond Bain, they are trying to cover him as much as possible. just didn't let him shoot good shots. And yeah, much down to Ja Morant having a great game. And even if he doesn't have a great game, even if he got like 10 for 25, and he still should cover this.
Yeah. Understood. Maybe hopefully that eases any of possible concerns going with that, but that is the official play. One thing I wanted to talk about today, um, Cavaliers for sure on my mind here. They're in big trouble, down 3-1 to the New York Knicks. They look the scores in this series. The Cavs scored 93 in yesterday's game. In the game before that, I think there was a game. There may be a game they were stuck in. Yeah, they had 79 in game 3 in both games at MSG. I think I saw that was the only game this season a team has scored less than 80 points. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% sure.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
the
it
lowest
was.
scoring game of the season. Yeah.
Oh, and for a
I'll
team who
just
traded 3 picks to make this team happen, and they're a young team, they got room to grow, but this is concerning. What is going on with the Cavaliers?
I'll just say applause for Tips
Tipped,
and
yeah.
huge boo for Bickerstaff. Like, if when you get out coached by Tips in first round of the playoffs, and he did everything good on adjusting the team, making good plays, drawing good plays, setting the good schemes, and Bickerstaff didn't do most of the things well.
Yeah.
And I think this I underestimated the power of non-shooting from the Cleveland Cavaliers, because when you play Mobley, Jared Allen together for 40 minutes, two non-shooters,
Yeah.
you can double team Donovan Mitchell on every possession with size, and that's what every player on this Knicks roster have, like Josh Hart, RJ Barrett. Quickly doesn't have size, but he's amazing on defense. He's so good. Even everyone on this team does well, or besides, I would say Jalen Brunson, and that's actually the thing that. So they hunt Jalen Brunson on offense, and they completely went away from their offense, and they just want to hunt Jalen Brunson, and they spent 15 seconds to get Jalen Brunson switched onto Donovan Mitchell, and when he get that matchup, they just double team him, and they lose like 20 seconds of possession to get Mobley to shoot what wide open wide corner three or some mid-range contested shot, and that's why their offense think. And Bickerstaff didn't do anything. He just let Donovan Mitchell play on the ball and getting double team, and he's settling for a Mobley shot. Like, put him off the ball, get the ball in Darius Garland hand, and run something to get Mitchell open. It's not that difficult. And also, Jaren Allen is terrible in this series. I never expected to say that, but he has troubles both sides of the court, don't protect the rim well. He had 4 rebounds as a starting center in a low efficiency game playing 40 minutes. So if Mitchell Robinson is out playing the bigs for the from the Cavs, where Cavs should have the edge, Mitchell Robinson was great. If Brunson is out playing both guards of Cleveland Cavaliers, because his defense is helping him just outplay Donovan Mitchell. Yeah, that's the result we get. And also, Tips last game benched Randle. That's huge thing in the, like, he's your All NBA player and you benched him entire fourth quarter. He didn't get a second of the fourth quarter. That's huge. And yeah, I just think the coaching is. I think these teams are pretty even. Starters of Cleveland are more talented, and the bench from Knicks is way better. But coaching in this game is, I think, for now, for these 4 games, we saw huge edge on the Knicks side.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, losing to the Knicks in a respectable series isn't the worst thing in the world or biggest like indictment against Bickerstaff for the Cavs, but the way it's going right now, like scoring 79 points in a 2023 playoff game, that is absurd. And to be honest, like for coach, like from a coaching perspective, this could be Bickerstaff's job if they lose Game 5.
I hope so.
And I saw some Cavs fans like, hey, if Nick Nurse is available, this could be a good option. And there's plenty of other options out there right now that could fit this team.
I hope. I actually hope for the Cavs to lose. I was actually hoping for it to happen last season because I think the Cleveland Cavaliers are one of the most likable teams. Like you have Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen. These are all likable players.
For sure.
I don't think. Yeah, I love all four of them, and to watch them play. So they have like why didn't you go for Josh Hart the trade deadline? Why didn't you go for Crowder? Like you know what's going to happen in the play. Like you wasted a good year by not getting a fifth guy. Caris LeVert playing 40 minutes, and he's actually playing way above expectations last two games. He actually played pretty good, but you don't want him to be your 40 minutes a guy in the playoffs. That's just absurd. He's not a good player.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And meanwhile, Josh Hart on the other side is getting like high 40s in minutes.
If you just switch Josh Hart on the other side, I think he's the best player, almost the best player in the series. Like his offensive rebounds, his defense, he's their commander on defense. He's telling like playing Draymond Green role. He's telling everyone where need to be, when to double team, where to switch, everything. He's floor general on defense, and on offense, he'll get you 4 to 5 crucial rebounds. Offensive, he'll shoot. His shooting night average is like 7 from 11. Like he's very efficient. Doesn't take bad shots. Very efficient. Hustle guys. Get you offensive rebound. Great defensive players. He's doing everything for them. Off the bench as their 6th player, 7th player, and Cavs don't have even 5th player. So that's huge. And I'll say the biggest thing is non-shooting. 2023 playoffs running to 3 players, non-shooting players like Okoro, Mobley, and Jarrett Allen. There is no way you can win because you can just double team on every possession the shooting guys. And their game 3, Garland, I think he fell out of the pressure because Madison Square Garden was loud. Man, that was crazy. It's very, very not great environment to young players coming into.
It's intimidating. It's intimidating.
Yeah, very, very intimidating. And the Knicks players got wings almost there. Like it's so easy to play at home and with that kind of environment.
Yeah. Important to note, it's 3-1. You can reverse a 3-1 series for sure.
Yeah.
Cavs have 2 games at home to do that. But like the way they've looked, it does not appear they're going to be able to do that. The lack of adjustments does not give us hope or the idea that they will be able to do that. And we knew the shooting would be a problem. I mean, you spoke about it many times. I've concurred, but we didn't think it would be this bad. We did not think it would be this bad.
Yeah.
And the Knicks are exploiting it to the fullest.
Yeah. And also, we have Mitchell Robertson playing in drop coverage. And even with him in drop coverage, there is still problems with shooting. So imagine if he was the player that will show up high on the screens. Like, that would be crazy. So, yeah, but great showing from the Mitchell. Like, role players from Knicks are playing well. And we have Emmanuel Quickly, one of the best 6 men of the year, is playing absolutely terrible, non-existent, and they are up 3-1. Julius Randle, they're all NBA players playing terrible, and they are up 3-1. That's the power of George Hart type of players.
For sure. Absolutely, for sure. And that's just like what happens when you get to the playoffs. So, hey, full credit to the Knicks for being able to do this against a tough Cleveland team. It really looks like they're going to go on and win this series, but we'll just have to wait and see on that. All right. That will do it for today's show. Let's recap the pick that we have for today. Looking to get back on track and start the week on a winning note here. In the Grizzlies and Lakers game, the bet is AD 20+ points and John Morant 25+ points for -110 odds at DraftKings was also available at BetMGM. But thank you guys so much for watching the show. Thank you guys so much for supporting. If you enjoyed the show, want to see more, just like it, subscribe to the channel, and drop a like to show your support. Help us get on some more recommended pages. Follow us on Twitter at the Board HQ to stay updated on all the content we have coming forward for you in the playoffs. And we will see you tomorrow for more betting for myself and Pips on Pick and Roll. Thank you again, everybody.